Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of SBTDT. Today we're going to be talking about something a little over compared to what we spoke the last time. Last time we spoke about how you can modify your motorcycle, what things to fix up to make it ready for the racetrack. Ultimately, the best thing that I found to do in my bike has been the one of improving the suspensions of my motorcycle. Improving the suspensions made my ride a lot smoother. The bike started complying with my commands and going exactly what I wanted to do. And I said that changing the suspensions is the most beneficial thing to do of all of them if you have to do anything to your bike. Just if you have to invest money, invest in the suspensions. Well, some messages I received were about electronics. A lot of people said, should I get a traction control system? Should I get a wheelie control system? Uh, well, this is really a matter of drive styles. There are riders that they ride better with the electronic aids active. Other riders they like to drive without electronic aids. Personally, I've never been a fan of electronic aids. I even turn it off in my car. Every time I get in the car, the first thing I hit is the electronic stability control off button. And on my motorcycle, I never had anything like that. Although I would be lying if I didn't say that I tried motorcycles that had electronic aids functions, and I personally didn't find myself very comfortable driving it because the feeling that I have is kind of like when I'm driving the car. If I have the electronic stability control on, I feel like I'm not driving anymore. I'm letting the computer guy that program the software take control over me and maneuver the vehicle for me rather than letting me drive it. And no, I personally don't like it. Some people really loves it. It's a matter of selection. We can take many examples from the racing world. Uh, there are riders like Jorge Lorenzo or Max Biaggi that they always enjoyed a lot to have a lot of electronics, and they rely a lot on the electronics to do the job of correcting the mistakes. And their strength is just they rely on such electronics. They get down on the corner and boom, they slam on the throttle, and then they let the computer do all the rest and cut down the power and hold the bike. And as the bike gets leaning up, he increases the power just as much as the tire in the lean angle will be able to handle. Well, it's all nice and handy. It sounds all great, but ultimately it's taking away a little bit of the fun of riding. I really enjoy feeling my bike sliding, but sometimes it's actually beneficial to have the bike sliding. Like sometimes it's beneficial to have your car sliding. For instance, years ago, there has been a fight when Casey Stoner used to race for Honda, and it was in Honda, and Honda had all these electronics that Ducati back then didn't have. And it just came from winning a championship in 2007 without that much electronics. And he was fighting back and forth with the engineers until the engineers they said, okay, these are the lap times you're doing with all this traction control and other systems active. Now do a lap without it. Well, he did the lap and he actually did it better, but they noticed also something. What he was doing, Casey Stoner was doing every corner by sliding his motorcycle anywhere between 8 and 12 degrees. So as he was going around the corner, his bike was actually off the corner by 8 to 12 degrees, which holding 4 degrees slide as a human, it's pretty tough. Saying that you do an entire lap and every corner you slide that much, it's pretty tough. But that's the moment where in MotoGP they said, okay, we better start making the electronic work in a way that it's going to allow you to slide up to these 12 degrees. So the bike keeps sliding until it reaches that point, because it turns out that sliding a little bit, it's faster. So in the MotoGP as well as in the World Superbike, the electronic aids, they are engineered to allow this. They allow a certain amount of sliding, and then eventually, if the bike is sliding more than that, they come in the picture. Definitely the electronic aids that we can find in the street motorcycles, they don't work like that. They kind of work like the electronic stability control in the car. As soon as it detects a little bit of a slide, it reduces the power so that the tire doesn't keep sliding. Is it good? Is it bad? Depends. There is people that really need to have systems like that because they don't have a wrist sense in their hand. Other people, they're very delicate on the throttle. Take me, for instance. I tried my dad's BMW S1000RR. He has a really heavily fixed up with the chips and wheels, exhausts. So there is everything you can imagine in the bike, and also the electronics is pretty up to speed. But I'm used to ride my Ducati and to be very gentle with the throttle. And what I realized was that when I was going down in the corner and I was asking a little, the bike was kind of snapping on me. It was like, But if I was going down in the corner and asking a lot, the bike was. If the electronics was doing the job for me, she was doing it smoothly. But if I was asking to do it smoothly with my hand, the bike was unable to do that. It was inconsistent. I felt like when I was asking a little, it was giving me a lot. When I was asking a lot, it was giving me a little. Personally, I didn't find comfortable by doing that, but I do have to say that, for instance, other riders, my father is one, loves it. He got to use it and he feels okay with it. Other riders they use it even more. There is people that even uses the wheelie control. There is people who use the ABS. There is a bunch of stuff that you can use, and it all depends whether or not you're comfortable with the way it feels. Uh, that's a matter of preference. Like I said, if I had the electronics that they had in MotoGP, where I can tell, okay, don't intervene until I have this much slide angle, I would use it too because let's face it, when you have like 12, maybe 15 degrees of sliding, you are in a heap of trouble. So something better come in help. Otherwise, you're going to be doing a high side up in the sky, and you definitely don't want that. So it would be nice if they gave to us something like that, even for the car. If they give me a stability control that comes in the picture only after the car is really sideways, yeah, I would probably keep it on. But as long as the stuff that they give to the street bikes or to the cars, for that matter, is so intrusive, is so catchy, I really don't find myself comfortable using it. And in my personal opinion, it's not that very beneficial. I rather cut it off. I don't have in my motorcycle. I cut it off in my car. Anytime that I drive a car, I cut it off, and that's how I feel more comfortable. I like to feel the bike sliding. I do feel my tires sliding out. That's how I learned how to ride. That's when I learned how to get better on the track. The key really that made the difference was not playing with the electronics, was the suspensions. So if I have to invest in drivability of that bike, I would deal with the suspensions. That said, if you prefer to use the electronics and rely on it, there is nothing wrong with it. It's a choice. We're all different, and that's how we'll live on the track. It's fun to see the differences. So the other thing that I can say is that although it's unrelated, I'd like to say that I'm very happy that recently the Federal Communication Commission restored the net neutrality laws, and this video is being done thanks to this net neutrality regulations that they are allowing me to upload this video for free. Unfortunately, there are some internet service providers that they are challenging in court these laws again. They want to block it. They don't like all this video streaming going on, and they would like to get a chunk of this streaming by charging YouTube a fee for broadcasting, for streaming all these videos to customers. Obviously, if the internet service provider starts charging YouTube, ultimately they're going to charge either the end users or the uploaders. And in that case, I wouldn't be able to upload the video unless I would put it up for a charge. It would be really sad if we lost net neutrality. So please keep an eye on the internet and see what's going on. Just do a search on Google net neutrality. You will find out if we have good or bad news. So far, we're good. And since we are in electronic world, remember, If you want the electronic, you can use them. If you don't like it, like I do, enjoy the slide and see you next time. Ciao!